Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the podcast. We are supported by our friends at Proper Design Works for all your custom clothing and embroidery needs. Look no further, Proper Design Works has got your back, literally. They got two sides to the business. I love the custom clothing side myself. I love making t-shirts that are designed by me, for me, that don't look like 100 other t-shirts on the rack. That's me personally, but you can also get bespoke tailored pair of jeans, for example, or a dress shirt that's designed to hug against your frame just so. Plus, you can do it on the cheap. It's not expensive to go see a tailor. I know the movies make it sound like it is, but like a t-shirt's going to run me $30. That's a fucking steal of a deal, specifically designed for me too, okay? The second side, if you're a business and you need to outfit your new staff with like, say, 50 t-shirts, are you a charity and you want to spread the word and you want to put your logo out there on a piece of clothing? Patches, hats, hoodies, these are just a couple of the reasons and scenarios why Proper Design Works can help you out. They're not afraid of big orders. They keep telling me they're a local small business, but I will argue that these guys are champions at what they do. They're super creative. They're super friendly. They're going to work with you until the very end to make sure you're happy because they understand not everybody is good with a sewing machine. Don't trust me. Head to @Proper Design Works on Instagram. That's @Proper Design Works. And when you're ready to place your first order, because I know you will be, info@properdesignworks.com. Again, that's @ProperDesignWorks, and the email address is info@properdesignworks.com. To anybody else out of province, they ship Canada-wide, so if you're in BC, you can order after you look. Second, we are sponsored by Bodegos, a global eatery in the heart of Winnipeg's Exchange District at 211 Bannatyne. If you are a Winnipegger looking for a new eatery, or you're rolling through town and you want a quick, healthy, delicious, fun bite, Bodegos has got you covered. They're in this little courtyard area of the Exchange where there's a bunch of other eateries and bars and stuff. It's a great atmosphere in the summertime to have lunch or dinner, what have you, afternoon snack. There's tons of reasons why to go. Second, super healthy food. It doesn't look it, which is why it's even better, but it's locally sourced, incredibly healthy, chock full of veggies and proteins and nutrients and all of the things you want. None of that processed shit that you get at like a chain restaurant. Second, it's from all over the world. They've got stir fries and flatbread pizzas, salads, pitas and wraps, a couple other things that I'm sure I'm forgetting. The point is, it's a great place to try something new from a different part of the world that you've maybe never experienced before in a healthy and great atmosphere. What else do you need in a restaurant? Don't listen to me. 211 Bannatyne. Go down there. Say hello to our friend Nick Van Seglin. Tell him we sent you. He'll chat your ear off. Ask him about his photography. He's a genius photographer as well as a great cook. Bodegos. Make it your next destination. Lastly, we've been talking to you for the last couple of weeks about Winnipeg Supper Club's event happening this weekend. Our friend Leanne Funk takes great venues and even better chefs and pairs them together. August 16th at Torque Brewery at 830 King Edward Street in Winnipeg is going to be the Southern Barbecue and Blues Night that she's putting it on. 4 different kinds of meats, all the Southern barbecue fixins like macaroni, baked beans, potato salad, and coleslaw. I know there's pulled pork and Dewey sausage and brisket for sure. Dinner starts at 6 and it's only $85 a ticket. You know, dinner sometimes can be $85 and it's gonna be like a smorgasbord. You're gonna be rolling out of there. And then at 8:30, Dwayne Dewick is gonna play some Manitoba Soul and carry you into the wee hours of the night while you down some of that delicious Torque beer. Again, that's August 16th this weekend. $85 a ticket, which can be found online, www.winnipegsupperclub.com or Eventbrite. There's only 8 of them left. So stop listening to me for a second. Go buy some tickets. Come back and tune into the rest of the episode. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, yeah, if you have any questions, you can find Leanne on the website, www.winnipegsupperclub.com. Her email address is there. Lastly, the show. What's on the show this week? Jimmy Skinner's idea is what's being debated. He thought, wouldn't it be fun if we tried to argue shit movies? So we made some rules. We had some caveats. It had to be less than 50% on the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter. It had to be a big money loss. And it just had to generally be shit. And then we were trying to argue why it's a better movie and why maybe looking at it through a different lens, different perspective, maybe watching it again might change your mind. Besides that, I got nothing else for you, so I'll cue the reel, and you enjoy the show.
Let's go back to the donuts.
Sorry. Go back to teasing Marty.
I finally broke down and ordered the new disgusting mini donuts from McDonald's. Have you had these things?
Are they good?
I had the Boston cream one, and I really like Boston creams, and I have to say the Tim Hortons one's better.
I am coming off of an O Donuts barrage from yesterday's dessert at my birthday dinner. So, looking, I appreciate the thought.
What was the dessert you had yesterday?
I had a banana. We got the 6, so we got the
6?
The 6 donuts.
The big 6.
The big 6.
Oh, okay. The big sex.
So it was a banana cream pie donut, the cronut, which is the combo between the croissant and the donut.
Yeah.
Whoa, they're playing God.
They're mixed. The rhubarb pie stuffed donut,
of course.
The
classic,
the breakfast bagel donut, the stuffed one with cream
All
cheese.
of these
Is the rhubarb one?
disgusting.
Is it artisanally locally
Yes.
picked from a back lane?
Well,
That's the best rhubarb.
That's the only rhubarb.
An artisanal Wolseley rhubarb donut. I want street rhubarb.
I only pick it if I know that homeless people have urinated on it.
It adds that extra flavor.
That's what gives it the flavor.
Yeah, there's you got your fat, your acid, your sweet, and your crunch. There it is. Anyways, but we just cut them into 4s and just sat there, me and Sean at my parents, going through section of donut after donut.
You look like you eat donuts with a fork and knife.
I eat donuts with my shirt off.
Don't you eat most food?
What don't you eat with your shirt off?
Yeah,
When he takes 4 burgers.
My 14-month-old daughter does that too.
we got a lot in common.
Totally.
You should see him at the movie theater. He takes 4 burgers and he takes his shirt off. It's just disgusting.
Sir, don't worry about it. The lights will be off soon. It won't matter.
I'm the George Costanza of movie theaters. I have to take my shirt off to eat my cheeseburgers. Anyways, Marty, how's things out there? How was your shows?
Pretty good. Fun shows. 2 shows one night. A little tiring. I forgot how, it was raining too yesterday, so all the shows were a bit busier. So and I had to take 2 Ubers, which definitely cost more than what I got paid.
First world problems over there.
Brutal.
Have you done? Did you do those venues before?
Yeah, I do those venues. They're one of the only 2 venues that are open right now.
Whereabouts are they?
So I do them, I guess, maybe every other week.
Are they?
They're both in downtown. One's off Main Street, a bit south of where I am, and then the other one I did is closer to home. At least it's maybe.
Couldn't you have
a
taken
10-minute
the Sky
Uber
Train?
ride?
The what?
Yeah.
The Sky Train. It's robotic. It talks.
Oh my god. Is that the one with Seth Rogen's voice?
I think that was just for a couple weeks or
Oh.
something.
That was Vancouver Transit
Right.
that they did his voice on.
Yeah, but that's the C Train too.
Is that
Or
the-
the Sky Train, sorry.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's Transit.
Like
event.
the don't
Yeah.
clip your
Yeah.
toenails on the train.
Who clips their toenails on the train? Oh,
Rob-
we have
Rob
one.
does.
Okay, the donut guy.
That's really gross.
had-
I think I would punch somebody in the head
Like,
if
why
I
would
saw
you-
them do that on the plane. I would just be like,
Not even their fingers, their toes.
Yeah.
Just holding their foot up to their body.
I could understand putting your hand down on your crotch and trying to get a hangnail or something off, but to stick your foot right. Sorry, Rob, nothing's gonna come out of my
no,
shorts.
I
Oh
know.
my
You've
God.
already explained the
The
package
here.
holding
Safety.
apparatus.
But
that's
to
in
stick
there.
your foot up like this and start that's not a socially acceptable.
Imagine if he was biting them.
Oh,
Well, I'd
much
actually
worse.
be impressed because to have flexibility that good later in life is impressive.
Wow.
I should do yoga with that guy.
He could probably teach you some things.
Full circle.
He'll teach you how to do a full reach around trombone rusty thing.
Where are the boards, Mike? You can have a point for that.
The boards. Rob, can you run over and grab the boards out of the big bag over there? I forgot to. I'm a bad podcast host.
I forgot. Are we actually using those?
Reach
we're
around
using
if you
them.
can,
Oh, yeah,
Rob.
buddy.
There, do
Those
the
are
old reach
those are the
around.
boards.
Yeah, we keep the boards in.
Just unzip the back, the duffel bag on the side there. Yeah, that one.
Oh God, not that one.
No, not that one. That's the wrong. No, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, bring the boards in.
It's full of toenails.
That's under my couch cushions. That's right. That's where I stick them. As Sean, I can't find them. All right, let's talk about some movies. As always, we really didn't have a chance to dissect how we were going to do this, so I think we should just throw it out there and go yay or nay. It'd be the easiest way to break through this. But these first scenes that we're going to go over here, this is going to be a tough one. I wanted to start with first impressions. Which are the first scene of a movie, right? It's either a yay or a nay. It pulls you in, it gets you going, like a good Quentin Tarantino 20-minute conversation lays the groundwork for what's coming. And if that first scene doesn't do enough for you, it kind of ruins the rest of the movie sometimes. Like you kind of have a hard time getting into it, or is that just me?
Well, sometimes you might not even watch the movie. You might watch for another 10 minutes and go, fuck it. And then you're actually missing something that's so monumental it's going to pull you in for the next 2 hours.
And I've had that happen with The Irishman where someone was like, give it till hour 45. I'm like, pardon me? No.
Till hour 45.
Like, that's too much time for me to invest before a movie gets good.
I watch an hour of The Irishman before bed every night.
I'd say the only TV show that I will honestly say you have to watch 3 episodes before you truly get into it is The Wire. That is so monumentally fucking awesome that if you don't watch it, you're a loser.
HBO, yeah, you are. I will admit.
You're a fucking loser if you haven't watched that.
Loser people who haven't seen Stringer Bell do his
or they don't know who
drug
Stringer
dealer.
Bell is because I'll be like, the dude that's Stringer Bell, and people are like, Stringer Bell, and I'm like, dude, you're
Goddamn, Idris Elba, come
Right?
yeah.
But that's HBO for you, right? Like they make smart television for smart people who want to be invested. But with a movie, you're on a limited amount of time, so you've got your first 20 minutes to a half an hour max.
They also make TV for teens who want to see boobs late night.
This is true.
Do they
Which is
still make
weird.
that?
Cheaper boobs. It's only $20 a month to see boobs.
right.
on
Which is
HBO
weird
right
because there's literally unlimited boobs doing every imaginable thing for like easy clicks away.
You'd think so, but not on HBO.
now. Well, Marty, start us off. You picked Raiders of the Lost Ark off this list. So what I hope to have here is we all kind of came into this with one of our picks. Maybe we can convince each other that one is better than the other by the time we're done. But we're going to do a limited amount of time so we can get into the actual argument today. So Marty, why is Raiders of the Lost Ark intro scene the best out of the 4 we've picked?
I think it gives you it's very I don't remember seeing a character like this in a movie previously. Like Indiana Jones is very it's great because it sets up it starts up in the cave, so it sets up that it's going to be an adventure movie, right? It's going to be great. You had the traps, you had the guys chasing him, the guys backstabbing him, the golden idol. That huge boulder scene is dope. So you get like this character is like he knows what he's doing. He's like a man's man, very masculine. And then the next scene that we get introduced to, he's a damn teacher. Like how is like that contrast? I think is what's great about it. Because I don't think you've seen any character like that before.
Being, I fucked the
rough
shit
adventure,
out of.
then all of a sudden intellectual.
So going from the contrasting between masculine man to a teacher with tenure at some university.
Yeah, exactly. It's that contrast. I think that scene because it provides that contrast. Just that whole different this is I didn't expect this. That's one thing. I didn't expect that scene to happen when I first saw it. I think a lot of people didn't, which is why I think it's one of the greatest intro scenes ever.
Like the first scene itself could be its own short film, really.
Yeah,
totally.
Before it cuts into him teaching, it could just be its own movie.
If you go to Disney World, they actually act that first scene out as like a live action thing. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, this was the first one that we popped up when we were talking about what we were going to discuss. And I'm going to agree with Martin. This is the best intro scene of all fucking time in a movie. And I mean, if you really want to break it down and analyze it, and honestly, we could probably not even bother talking about the other ones and just talk about this one. The fact that you've got Doc Ock in his very first fucking movie as as a tour guide, as the guide. And the fucking tarantulas fall on them, and they're and Indy's fucking he's so for bravado, he just shakes them off. But then the other guy's all shaking and shit. But Indy has 2 tarantulas, but the other guy has 37, and you're just what the fuck? That's so many tarantulas. And you're also do tarantulas actually are they in caves like this? I don't know. I'm not a fucking entomologist, but it's fucking cool. And you're right, all the traps, and it's just exploring that stuff, and you're don't go in the light because the shit comes flying out, and I don't know, it's so good.
There's kind of a rule that every 10 to 15 minutes in movies you need an action punch, right? You need to keep your audience engaged, and that first scene has 10. So it's
John Williams soundtrack.
Yeah.
And
what do you think, Jimmy?
I guess Martin wins. That's it for this week. We'll just
Bye, guys.
go home.
This is like prom night.
No,
quick and cheap.
I hate to suggest anything else than what Martin said, but I think honestly the opening scene from Scream is pretty unbeatable. Like it's.
Oh, I like how he segued right into his own.
I mean, like I really talk about it every single week I'm on. But
Scream?
Yeah,
It's a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah.
it's so beautiful, and the way they put Drew Barrymore on the poster, like you think she's going to be a main character, and the opening scene is her being horribly gutted.
They Ned Starked her before Ned Stark.
Exactly.
They knew what they were doing.
It's so well done. The calls him once he starts calling her. And at first she starts like, because you don't think it's someone outside your house going to kill you, so she's like being playful a bit, and she's like answering the question, she's playing along with it a bit.
Let me keep talking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love my cordless phone.
And then it starts getting a little more threatening, right?
Yeah.
It starts getting a little bit scarier, and I don't know. The whole essence of Scream, I think, is scarier than things like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's just a fucking guy with a knife. It's just someone who went crazy. It's something that could happen, and with the phone calls and stuff, the realism is just so.
It also
there.
epitomizes all horror movies, and it basically structures every horror movie that's come previous, gives a commentary on it, and puts it into a perfect, complete package that Wes Craven had spent a lifetime basically developing. I took like a film studies course my first year at university, and we actually watched Scream as one of the movies and analyzed it and picked it apart and had to write papers on it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Because that's how good it is.
It is one of the most perfect horror movies ever, and because it pulls from the old and then it goes into the new. I like it because it's your domicile, right? It's where you feel most safe. So starting the movie,
Right, she's at her home.
she's at her home.
Like a farm home too, in the
Yeah.
California hills,
Yeah.
where nothing would ever
Your
happen.
neighbor's
It's one of those.
like 8 clicks down the road.
It's one of those Dateline towns where nothing ever happens until
Totally.
it does.
Until it does.
That's
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
what? Gimli has this look to it. You ever beat a Gimli?
Yeah.
You ever beat a Gimli?
You ever beat a Gimli?
You ever beat a Gimli?
Ever
it has
beat
one
up
of those
a
Dateline
short dwarf
looks.
from Lord of the Rings? Ever beat a Gimli? But no, you're right. Yeah, the sleepy town that all of a sudden gets turned upside down. I agree with Marty on this one, and I like where this is going, because I feel that it's the first Indiana Jones. It's where the character is introduced.
Well,
like,
I brought up Scream because Scream 5 is going to come out, and
yeah,
Tony
no,
Cox signed
it's
back
very
on.
topical at the moment. Yeah,
The one thing that Raiders intro doesn't have, though, is it doesn't have short round. That's all.
you cheat.
Exactly,
You cheat, Indy.
yeah.
You cheat.
Driving a car with blocks on the pedals.
Love 'em.
I like
Love it.
I
Booby
just-
trap.
I just,
Wrong movie, but still.
What booby trap from what Indiana Jones movie? They're all great booby traps, right?
No, that's from Goonies.
Oh,
It's the same- it's the
okay,
same- it's the
I
same
see where
actor.
you're.
Goonies
can
is
have a
booty
po- you
traps.
get a
Wasn't it
point for
booty
that.
traps?
Yeah, it's Goonie traps. I like it because it locks you in, and it's instant action right out of the gate. It's a Disney ride, like you said, Rob.
Yep.
Like it's transcended the screen. It's become more. It's
When the hat falls off and he has to like reach out and grab the hat, like that is such a like it's a scene that like. If The Simpsons copies a scene from a movie multiple times throughout the series
There must be
to
something right,
reference
yeah.
it, that's how ingrained in popular culture it is. And that intro scene, whether it's the boulder coming in or like the
gold
hat
drop.
or like with the sand, the boobs feels like a bag of sand. But I always think of that. Sorry, when I see that, never watching that scene, I'm thinking of the poke. What? So stupid. Why did I say that? Like 40-year-old virgin always pops in my head. But
All right,
yeah,
that's another point. I think Rob's going to win today.
Yeah, points versus debate. Who's going to pull out in the front here? I am sucked in, and I mentioned it in just a Tarantino opening scene just pulls me in. I like dialogue that creates tension versus, and I'm not saying it's cheap, but versus like a boulder coming at me, right? Like it's two different kinds of intros. Obviously, every movie's different, so you're not going to be able to compare them in their entirety. But the intro in Inglourious Bastards, the SS commander walking into the poor Frenchman and having a conversation, and then the slight slip of English to German so that the Jewish people under there's so many little things there that you're waiting, and then the payoff really isn't that big. Just shooting the floorboards. I'm not saying that that's not easy to swallow, but the amount of buildup that occurs with great
Just
dialogue.
so much tension. Like, I don't think I've had sweatier hands seeing a movie.
didn't he win an Oscar?
For
I
Inglourious?
believe
Yeah, didn't
so.
he? Yeah, for best supporting actor.
Yeah.
And it was
I
based
think
on
so.
that scene.
Yeah. No, he did. You're right.
And the fact that he can
Christoph Waltz,
seamlessly go
anyone?
from German to English to French.
Incredible.
Like, there is not many actors that have that scope that can pull off that,
Christoph Waltz is
He's
the
unreal.
He's
The
unreal.
range.
So
the range
The
on
range of
the
this
man.
you brought up one, Rob, and we were
He's
like,
good, man.
we kind of weren't going to let it happen because Marty was like, well, it's where technicality, but I do want to talk about it because it's I think it's comparable to Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark is the intro scene to Saving Private Ryan. As much as it isn't a traditional intro scene, that beach shot, I know from reading about it time and time again, every time something from Saving Private Ryan comes up, I'm just glued to it. But he gave every camera guy a handy cam instead of a shoulder cam. And that's how they got the feeling of the shaking and the bombs exploding and the running and the diving and the ducking. That was all just, and then they just went through
And the dodging and the ducking and the dipping and the diving and the dodging.
5 Ds. 5 Ds.
Dodging
That's a
wrenches.
point. Give yourself a point, Mr.
If you can
Dodgeball.
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. In that Saving Private Ryan's intro, the one thing that always haunts me still, and when somebody says Saving Private Ryan, this little snippet pops in my head where there's like a soldier and his arm is blown off.
Yeah.
And he
He's-
finds it on the ground and he holds it up and he looks at it and he's just like, what the fuck? And that is just so poignant and just
It does. It is a true reenactment of the battle scene of storming that beach that I think you'll ever find.
Yeah, I don't think I've read anywhere that said, yeah, Private Ryan, this is not real.
Yeah, no, it's
it's probably not even as gory as it actually
I'm sure
was.
it was just
It was probably
so
worse even than that.
unimaginably horrible.
Could you imagine me the first guy off
Oh,
those
you'd be dead.
boats?
yeah. The
Like,
first 10
you're
guys
already
are
dead.
just they're just
Getting mowed by a machine gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hornet's nest up on the beach. All you are is just a human sandbag to stop more bullets from coming at that point.
Go see 1917. That was good
I want to see that.
It was really good.
I'm hoping it's
That
going to
was
be
great.
re-released on IMAX.
Yeah.
I hope so.
this summer.
That would be a great re-release to pull people's asses back.
It was
into
really
the
good.
seats for sure. Okay, so I guess we've decided that a great intro scene is defined by some really good action bullets that pull you in, some great dialogue that introduces characters on multiple levels.
Can we,
right?
can we talk about Inception real
Yes,
quick? And,
totally.
and not
Yeah.
even so much Inception, but I think this is just almost a Christopher Nolan movie. Shout out as well
He
too.
does set the pace very well.
Because
in the opener.
and I was thinking about it, and I mean, the Inception one's unbelievable, and just it's intense action that draws you in and just sets the whole pace for the entire rest of the movie. But think about Dark Knight and the intro for Dark Knight, and remember with Dark Knight they released that intro scene months before.
Was that as a trailer?
As the trailer,
Right.
but it wasn't, and that's all they showed was just the intro scene where they're storming the bank and all that kind of stuff, and you're just like, holy fuck, how good is this movie gonna be? And that's one thing that I like about, he's kind of the opposite of Tarantino. Tarantino will always do the credits and make you see every single person that's gonna be in this movie, right? And kind of sets it up
it's
that
almost
way.
part of the scene.
Right, exactly, right? Whereas Nolan will just jump into some crazy thing
Cut
that
to
just
black, open.
boom, fucking blows your mind. You're just like, holy fuck, what's going on? And then there's some credits.
Yeah, yeah, and back to business over here.
And in a few months we'll all be doing the same conversation about Tenet.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just went from 6 to 12.
Yeah.
What do you got, Mark? What are your thoughts on Inception, Mr. Marty in Vancouver?
I love Inception. It was a really good movie. I just like that idea of dream within a dream within a dream. Rob said, I mean, I think he's the opposite of Tarantino, where he starts something big while Tarantino builds up slowly to something big.
Yeah.
With Inception, you get that with that first scene. I mean, it's great.
It's kind of like
Huge
subtlety
fan, huge.
versus
Like,
money shot.
I love Christopher Nolan too.
Well, and it's that
Yeah.
you're introduced in Inception to a system and a method of hacking people's brains.
Oh yeah, and I love the time dilation aspect of it. That shit always, I love it.
And it is based loosely on some science.
For sure.
Shauna is I can't remember the term right now, but she can wake up from a dream and go right back to where she was in the dream.
Yeah.
So lucid
is that-
dreaming. That's what it's called.
Oh, I thought it was called bookmarking.
So,
Ooh,
yeah,
fun.
no, that would definitely be a good.
Is that a real term?
No, I just made it up.
Wow.
That's
That's
what I would
that's
coin, that's what I
dream.
would coin it as.
bookmarking my dream?
Fun.
I like
Yeah,
that. I'm going
yeah.
to use that from now on.
In my next life, when I get my doctorate in psychology, that's what my thesis will be.
Rob has a textbook for everything. Jimmy and Martin. He's because went to university late, so he kept everything he paid for, as opposed to like a 20-year-old student.
He was like, I need this $30 for this year's textbook. I had enough money where I was like, I'm going to keep this chemistry textbook and for organic chemistry practice.
For
later on in my
reference.
life.
Yeah, exactly. But like when we're in our chat group, we're like, I bet you Rob has a textbook on this. And he's like, I do. And then he shows a picture of like Greek philosophy 2.0. And you're like, go to Rob if you ever want to know anything in university classes.
It was the history of Western civilization
Yes,
too.
it was.
Thank
Yes.
you very much.
The
All right.
sequel.
So a good opening scene is defined by many things, but what we could shortlist as is either jam-packed full of action sequences that lock you into your seat and show you that you're in for a really good ride, right? And a good action movie is technically a roller coaster. You want those dips and valleys, right? You want to go up, you want to go down. Then you've got your long-form conversation that introduces your characters. And then you've also got what we're saying with just like a cut right into a scene, right? Like with Inception and with Dark Knight and everything that Nolan does, it is a fade to black and then go. There is no real build up with him. It's you're it's like you're in the middle of the bank heist with the Joker, right? Or you're in the middle of the dream with Leo.
But that's also why I like the Scream one too, because I like the fact that they kind of advertise it as you're like, whoa, Drew Barrymore's in this movie. She's hot.
It's
She's
huge.
awesome.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was-
we're fucking killing her in the first 6 minutes.
I couldn't imagine being in the theater, and like I've asked these guys before about it, but just going to the theater and expecting her to be in the whole movie, and then just immediately getting
Did you
killed.
see it
I
in
would
the theater?
I was too young.
Yeah.
I think I was born.
What year did that movie come out? 94?
96?
I think it's 95.
Yeah, because I saw it. I saw it in high school.
Oh,
I saw it. I was getting a hand job under the blankets with my girlfriend in front of her parents when we watched that for the first
Yes.
time. That is I'm
That's
not kidding.
a better
like
one than
they
The
were
Lion
watching?
King.
No, there was a blanket. We were all
Oh.
watching Scream, but I was getting a hand job under the blanket.
Oh, sweet.
brag.
So every time I look at
Was
Drew
it one of
Barry-
those like crochet knitted blankets?
Yeah.
Just
that
so
she used?
visible.
She used it. She grabbed the blanket and sucked my
So in dim light, it would be okay to give the hand job because you wouldn't be able to quite make it out. But if it was a bright room, people would be like, "Dude, we can like literally see through the through the stitching."
But like reflecting on this now,
Crocheting.
I'm not surprised why I get a boner every time Drew Barrymore gets into a situation. There's something Pavlovian there.
Did you wash the blanket after at least?
I didn't.
Same question.
I didn't
Was it
finish,
washed?
guys.
Did
It was
Did you
just-
like, do your due diligence and wash it? Like, be a good guest?
It was dry. Nobody was happy about it.
Because nothing gets dried semen out.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing. No. It-
It's worse than a chocolate stain.
Yeah.
On
See? See? Look, Jimmy. See?
Nothing gets it out.
Wow, you got a lot of white stains on those black socks.
What can you do?
Let's get a UV light in here and see what's up.
Oh, I don't want to do that. No, pass.
All right. Well, I feel warmed up, and I feel that we've decided what an opening scene should be. So, Jimmy, would you like to introduce us to what we're questioning this week?
I'm psyched that I'm just getting so many writing credits from this.
Yeah.
I'm adding to my invisible resume. This week we decided, and this is a topic that we've had before, but we
Yep.
just like restructured it a bit.
Yep.
Pick a universally hated movie that's we usually just use the Rotten Tomatoes. I think
Yeah.
we all did that.
Yeah.
Audience has to hate it. The critics have to hate it.
It needs
And what
a
else? It needs
big-
to have lost money.
Yep.
So it ended up being a lot harder than I think any of us expected it to be.
Yeah.
And with the losing money, we said domestically and
Global. Yeah,
Internationally,
globally.
yeah,
We
right?
allowed globally.
So it could
it's
be
a
like-
bigger
has to
punch.
be a flop.
Didn't
Yeah.
flop just in America, flopped everywhere.
Yeah.
No cult classics. We actually came up with a few extra rules for this. We were a little less loosey-goosey than we always are.
Yeah. We got here prepared today.
So basically pick a universally hated movie and explain why it's not terribly bad.
Which I have watched two of them in the last 24 hours, and I combined between watching the two, I think I got through half of a movie.
It's just fucking rough.
Yeah, some of them were rough, some of them weren't.
So our goal for this isn't to explain why it's actually good. It's just, hey, you can sit through this.
yeah,
Here's why.
yeah. Here's what you missed. Here's
Oh, I
what
thought
you
we were
made.
actually trying to argue why it's actually
Hey,
good.
I mean, if you brought that, great.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. That's
'Cause you
just
got a
icing on
huge
your
advantage.
cake. Marty, I want to let you go first because I watched your movie this morning, and I'm really interested to see why you think it's great.
I didn't say it's great. Once again, it's just one of those things that it's not as bad as people say it is.
All right, introduce it.
But my pick was Your Highness, starring just an all-star cast, like Danny McBride, James Franco, Natalie Portman, Zooey Deschanel, Justin Theroux. They have Charles Dance as the king.
JT.
Like, it's here. I'm gonna preface this by saying, okay, this is how I think this movie got started. I think James Franco, Natalie Portman, and Danny McBride were all hanging out at a party, got super wasted, and one of them was like, "Hey, we should do a movie about medieval times, like a comedy movie." And then one of them was like, "Okay," and calls the studio drunk, leaves a voicemail, like a prank voicemail, and then a few months later, like, "Hey, we got the green light for that movie. You guys want to do it now?" And they're just like, "What movie?"
What?
But it's the same director as Pineapple Express.
This is the only one who would
I know,
do
that's
it.
what I mean. It's Pineapple Express meets basically, medieval times. That's what it is. It's so bad that it's just funny. I mean, it's like they got the script a week before the movie and said,
I agree.
"This is it. Let's do it." Right? I mean, the accents are all over the place. They're not great. It's like the worst English
Oh my
accents.
God, you're
I don't
so
even
right.
English accents. But it's not great, but it's funny, and it's the type of humor that's just like, it's very childish humor, and that's the type of humor I like, which is why it's one of those movies that I could keep playing in the background down the road.
I like how Danny McBride is basically his typical Southern American character.
Yeah.
But in medieval.
Like when I don't know if him and Franco are like trying to outdo each other on who can do a worst English accent, because as the movie goes, like he just keeps stepping on like he's trying to be prim and proper, and all I see is just Danny McBride from This Is the End. Like it just jerk off hand signals and awkward Danny McBride. But okay, go on. Try more.
We knew what we were getting into.
I think, this is what it is. It's not going to win any awards. It's not going to win any Oscars. It's a watchable movie. It's not one of my favorites, but I mean, it's just, think of it like that. Like, think of it the way I think one of the reasons why it did so bad in the box office is you have to watch it at home. It's one of those home movies. I wouldn't spend money to go see this in a theater, but it's one of those movies that pairs nicely with an indica. That's all I'll say that.
Or you're hungover.
Smoke some weed, and it makes the movie so much better. I think that's the viewing experience you have to watch with this thing.
I think
get high, because I think that's how they did the movie. I think they were all just high on set all the time, cracking jokes. And I think, you know what? If I was on that cast, it'd be a fun movie to film. Like, imagine just hanging out with these like power actors, just getting high every day, filming this just terrible movie and putting zero effort into it. Like, it's one of those for me movies. It's for them. It's not for the fans, not for the critics. It was one of the fun projects that they got to do.
I
think that's why that's how I view this movie.
I did very much enjoy when Danny McBride keeps the Minotaur's dick as the trophy, and he just keeps it around his neck at all times. I did enjoy that very much.
That was for a quarter of the movie, too.
Yeah.
He wears that for a quarter of the movie.
Who wrote the movie?
Marty, do you have that? Did
Danny McBride wrote it.
I think, yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but he changes his name. Like, in the credits, he goes as Danny McBride. But as writer, he goes Danny R. McBride. Like, it's supposed to give him some sort of, like he's punching up for some reason.
You know what's funny? Since then, he's done the Halloween 2018. He's going to do the sequel to that. He helped write Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
Like, he's taken like Jordan Peele route of starting in comedy and then moving to horror, and I really do enjoy Danny McBride's horror writing. I think it's pretty good.
That's
I
good.
think it's easy to transition.
I still think he should have, like, Justin Theroux was on the set. He should have gone, "Oh, you wrote, a really awesome, funny movie.
Can you help?
Can you
help a little bit? Can you maybe change some of this the dialogue a little bit to punch it up, so to speak?
Oh, he suggested the Minotaur dick.
Justin Theroux did?
No, I don't know.
Probably.
That was the only.
Probably.
He contributed.
I won't do this film unless there's Minotaur dick. End of story. I'm not leaving my trailer.
Because think about how good Tropic Thunder is, written by Justin Theroux.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you got Your Highness.
Well, and I Martin, you raise a really good point, because I think it's one of those films where on paper they pitched it one way, and then they were like, ha ha ha, we have the money, and then they just went totally 90 degrees the other way.
What was the budget on that thing?
It had to have been high.
Like 60 million?
It was 20. Hold on, the budget was high. Around there. It was, I have it here, 50 million. Made 28 in the box office.
That had to all go into costumes, right?
That's costumes and special effects.
Special effects. There's a lot of special effects scenes in that.
Yeah, right.
And you know what? They actually built like the Minotaur's labyrinth scene. Like they built that set. So
do we know how much it lost at the box office? If it made,
Well,
if it was cost?
budget 50, box office 28.
Jeez.
but that $50 million budget doesn't include distribution, so it lost even more.
Wow, that is universally disappointing. Like,
But it might have made up a little bit of money in streaming and video sales because I do own the Blu-ray.
what?
So they got $22 from me.
What are the special features?
Yes, please tell me what.
You know what? I was gonna watch it, but I didn't have enough time this week. So I watched mine. I watched Repo Man last night, and I finished it this morning. And then I had Your Highness ready to go, but I didn't have enough time. But I was thinking about that. I was like, I bet you some of the deleted scenes are pretty funny and things like that.
Right.
Because when you watch like the deleted scenes from Will Ferrell movie, I howl because it's literally him doing the same scene but with like 20 different little phrases.
There was I was watching the American Reunion, like the newer American Pie.
Yeah.
And I forget his name. He was in Harold and Kumar. He was Harold. There's like 50 different
Jonathan
versions.
Cho?
Jonathan Cho. Yep.
He
plays fucking Sulu, man.
Yeah.
He's fucking legend.
Yeah.
There's 50 different versions of him yelling, "Don't be a pussy, Jim," on YouTube. And it's so good. Just in like different styles, and it's very enjoyable.
Don't be a pussy, Jim. Don't be a pussy, Jim.
Don't be a pussy, Jim.
Do not be a pussy. Pussy, do not be Jim.
Like, I could watch it all day.
What was the Rotten Tomato score, Marty?
Shitty.
I have it
22.
here. 1 second. Not great.
Really?
It was 34 audience, 27 critics.
That's not a bad audience score.
It's not terrible. I mean, there's 0 ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. So
I picked a movie with a 0 rating.
we're well aware of that.
Yes.
Because when you wrote that in our WhatsApp chat, I looked at it and I was like, I was like,
Christ.
I was like, the micro penis movie.
So Shauna, last night we were sitting here and I'm watching it, and she's like,
You watched Bucky?
I watched Bucky last night.
God.
Oh, good.
And Shauna's sitting here and she's like, you know, it's your birthday and you get to watch whatever you want without me complaining, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you sure you want to make this the movie? I was like, nope, I do not.
You're welcome.
So we shut it off just as he got to Hollywood.
Oh, good choice.
And Christina Ricci's piercing like dinner plate eyes are just like cutting across the screen at me. And
You
I'm
know
like,
what even couldn't have made that movie better?
Oh,
a
no.
Minotaur's necklace. Minotaur's dick necklace. Couldn't even have made that.
I wonder if all we need in all 4 of our movies is a Minotaur dick. I wonder if that's the missing piece.
That should be the name of
I
the
think so.
episode.
Minotaur dick is the name of the episode. Done deal. Speaking of Bucky, Jimmy.
Minotaur Richard necklace.
Minotaur Richard.
Minotaur. Richard the Minotaur's
Sorry,
dick.
Mike, before we get to Jimmy,
Yes,
I just want to say one thing.
Yep.
Like, I think one of the things with bad movies and in factoring my pick was like replay value. This is one of the movies, like I said, I could keep on the background. I've seen it a bunch of times. Hi, it's great. Like,
a good
watch
point.
it stoned. It's awesome. But I like replay value. And I think what's the comedies, they have a lot of replay value. Mm-hmm. Your movies, I enjoy. I watched all the movies that we all picked today. I enjoyed all of them. Despite their scores.
You are kind.
But like,
Wow, Martin.
it is one of the things. It's just one of the things that I can't watch. Like a lot of them, I can't watch again. You know, it's one of the I'll watch it once. Like, okay, that's it. But this one, I could keep coming back to over and over again. Like Rob owns the Blu-ray, so I mean, come on.
So could you watch it as many times as Hot Tub Time Machine?
I would argue that's an okay movie.
So would I.
Hot Tub Time Machine?
Maybe
is
not
like,
as many times, but I've seen it. Like I
it's
said,
one of
I've
my
probably
top
seen it
10
5 or 6
comedies.
times.
It's
Great White
it's good.
Buffalo. Great White Buffalo. Great White Buffalo.
Have you seen the second one though?
Chernobyl. The second one shouldn't have been made.
Probably
Chernobyl.
not, right?
The second one was bad because it didn't have John Cusack. That's
Well, of
the
course.
failing there.
Well,
right?
and
What did you think? You were Hunter S. Thompson? I was trying to be. It's like the Terminator.
Coke all over his face. But anyway, we're gonna sidetrack.
Okay, here's a question we should ask of every one
Oh
of them.
man.
then. Okay.
Was John Cusack the draw for that movie, Hot Tub Time Machine?
He was a draw for me. Just-
I definitely think so.
yeah.
I like Rob Corddry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck,
he
I
was
love
really
that guy.
good.
Yeah, Rob Corddry, I
He's
like
so
too.
good.
Craig
I
Roberts.
love it in
Craig
Harold and
Roberts,
Kumar when he
Roberts,
wipes
yeah.
his butt with the fucking Constitution.
And it's so shitty.
Like, why is your butt so dirty?
Like, it's not even dry either. Like, it's
How
recent.
are you walking around with such a wet ass, man?
Oh my god.
Like how?
How is your ass so dirty?
How do you not notice? Like what? How busy is your day that you can't just take 30 seconds and
Well,
wipe
maybe
it
he
dry?
made a call that he was like, no, this shit doesn't require a wipe. So I'm just gonna risk it.
Yeah. It feels like a dry one came out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It seems like a perfect one. I've been eating a lot of fiber. It's gonna be perfect.
That's a Houdini.
I'm not saying I won't wipe if I feel I shouldn't wipe, but I'm always surprised when I wipe, and I'm like, oh yeah, I called it. I couldn't have wiped. There's nothing there.
But
Isn't it like a courtesy to other humans that you do a wipe?
Yeah, no, it totally is. Yeah,
Or to potentially the person who's going to eat your ass later that day.
I mean, that's never on my schedule, but I can understand.
Never know. It could happen.
Michael's shorts do all the wiping that he could ever need.
They ride. They're built to go up so that.
Is that a new feature from Lou?
It is now.
All day comfort.
All day comfort. All day wiping. Never.
We'll shavasana out your butt.
Okay, but here. Okay, let me ask a movie question, because this is like 3 episodes in a row we've talked about something about our asses.
I have tears.
Why do we think this movie didn't do well? Like, what was it missing? Because from me watching,
It might have been the release. I think it was like a February release
okay,
or
so
March
dump,
release
dump
or something.
months. All right. I think they were trying to capitalize off of Danny McBride, because that's right around.
What's when it's after Pineapple Express?
It's after Pineapple
and
Express.
it's
Right after,
Southbound and Down was coming out.
Yeah.
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. Fuck. Oh, that was
It's all in
brutal.
the direction.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a compass. That's all you need.
I was spun around, man. Sorry.
It's facing this way.
South is different when you're turned around.
I have no sun in here to reference.
But I think it was capitalizing
That was
on
another
Eastbound
Harold
and
and
Down.
Kumar reference.
And him kind of transition, because like I don't really remember him doing much movie work before the group of guys like Roberts, Franco, Seth Rogen, like the core group.
Yeah.
They were
Seth
all
Rogen,
starting
yeah.
to kind of get into their shtick. So I think that was, hey, Pineapple Express did well. Let's do the same thing, but do it in medieval times.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, great stoner comedy, but I don't think it has the long.
No,
the
Pineapple
long-
Express is
longevity.
epic, and I think
Yeah.
the fact that it proved that James Franco was actually a comedian.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I'm a serious actor.
Yeah, like your follow up album to your sophomore album is
Yeah.
always critiqued the most, because Sheepdogs, great example. Sophomore album, right out the gate, we were like, holy fuck, who is this Canadian rock band who sounds like they're coming right out of the 70s? But their follow-up album, not so great. But that's not because it's a bad album. It's because people ride you harder.
It's
so I think
also,
they're ridden harder
also your
because,
first album, you've had your entire life to write it.
Exactly. You and then you're rushed after you get signed. So I see James Franco and Danny McBride do
Red.
it.
McBride. Yeah.
Red from Pineapple Express. The studio going, these guys have something, but then it flopped because it was too quick.
I blame Natalie Portman. I don't think they should have brought her in.
What's wrong with Amidala?
She fucking threw it all to shit.
She had a bow and arrow, right? Was that her shtick in it? Because I didn't get that far. I mean, I
think it's just
I
one
actually-
of those, like, nobody asked for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, nobody,
I actually forgot
Yeah.
she was in it until I grabbed the Blu-ray off the shelf and was like, oh yeah, Natalie Portman's in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't know Zooey Deschanel was in it either.
Right?
Her with the fork
Did
trying
you say
to comb her-
Zooey?
I've always said Zooey.
Zoe.
Is it Zoe?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it 2 O's?
but
it's pronounced Zoe, but I
think the E
I kind of
cancels out
like
the other O.
Zooey.
I like Zooey.
I mean,
It's Yes Man, starring Jim Carrey and Zooey Deschanel.
yeah, Zooey's way better than Zoe.
and Amelie.
Point taken. All right.
It's kind of like Jaim.
That's
how I pronounce Jim.
The Gaim. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I
yeah,
say
exactly.
it.
Oh, a Gaim.
A Gaim. I'm gonna go work out at the Gaim.
Is it Jim or Gim? It's kind of like GIF or GIF.
Jujubes or
Yeah.
Jujubes?
Yeah.
Ketchup. Coupons.
Yeah, your highness was really bad.
Roof.
And okay, so Jimmy, how good is your pick? Let's go to you next.
Well, I guess we'll start with the Rotten Tomatoes scores. I check. I use the list, right? Like, I searched worst rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes to find my pick.
Yeah.
And this was the first one that I recognized and seen. It had 0% from the critics. Yeah. So is that the actual number? Rob's holding up a 0.00005%, or is that just that's the percent
that's a
sign.
percentage at the end.
Okay, so yeah, it is.
It's
but
0.00000.
Rob's at 5.
He's on a fucking hot streak.
And
I stole that joke from the Howard Stern show.
And the audience score is 10%. So it's really that's pretty bad. Like,
that's the worst of them all.
it let's see. I think it was made for $10 million and it only made back 6. So I couldn't imagine where their budget went.
Well,
you
maybe
got to pay
just
for
locations?
You got to pay for camera and lights.
Yeah,
but
just
you also
renting equipment.
you have a Happy Madison production.
Yeah.
So I think Adam Sandler's asking for a lot for his.
No, Adam Sandler found that $10 million like in his bedside table. He's
I
like,
know,
here you go.
yeah.
Make
You
this
know what's
movie.
funny? You know what
Called
separates? I don't even know if I said the movie. Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star. That's what I'm talking about right now. I think what separates it and what could have made it a higher percentage on Rotten Tomato and not made me able to use it is if Adam Sandler was in it for even just a little bit.
Yeah.
People would have seen it because you've seen the terrible movies he'll release and people will still fucking watch it.
Jack
so I
and
think
Jill.
exactly. So if he was in this movie, I think it would have made it just a little bit better, even if he's not even doing anything per se.
For people who've never seen it, what's the story of Bucky Larson? Where's Bucky going? What does Bucky want to do with his life?
So Bucky finds out I think he's in his late 20s, early 30s. It's kind of hard to fucking tell. He finds out that his parents were porn stars back in the 70s, and he sees that as his chance to go to Hollywood and become a big-time star.
A big-time star.
A big star.
I'm from Iowa. How'd you know?
That's where he's from, Iowa.
Yeah,
That's right,
just-
Corn County.
So he goes to Hollywood with his dream of being a star. He falls in with the right crowd eventually, starts working in porn because of his
Don Johnson.
incredibly small dick.
Micro penis.
Yes.
There's
know-
there's a genre for everybody, right?
And he falls in love. He meets a girl, giving hope to everybody. Definitely not me, though. I'm fine.
Who's the actor in it again?
Nick Swartzen. Nick Swartzen. He does a lot of stuff with Adam Sandler. And all of the Adam Sandler buddies are in it, like all of his side boys, his entourage, I guess, like
Is
the guy with the
Buscemi in
weird
it?
eyes. I don't think Steve Buscemi
Steve
is in
Buscemi's
it.
not in it
Yeah.
because he was like, I'm not even going to be in this pile of shit.
Cannot be in.
He
this
was in
movie.
Boardwalk Empire at the same time. So he's like, I'm a big deal now.
Can't slum it now, man. I got that HBO money.
I cannot be calmed down in this. I cannot.
I can't play another character with googly eyes.
Write me something new,
You know what?
Sandler.
I'll say
But
it.
the limo driver from Wedding Singer, and then the bum from Happy
man.
Madison. What the hell's his name? He's in every Adam Sandler movie.
He's the guy who's the star of Grandma's Boy.
yes.
Oh, see, I
can't
it's
remember
just
his
one
name.
of his buddies.
It's just one of his
And
buddies.
Loved Grandma's Boy.
And that's why I actually had high hopes for Bucky Larson. I was like, oh,
Right?
sweet. This is going to be awesome.
It
Nick Schwartzman.
can't be that
Grandma's
bad.
Boy was so fucking amazing. And it's a pile of deuce.
So why is it good to you there, Jimmy?
Look, I wouldn't even go that far.
Okay, why is it tolerable, Jimmy?
I will say the same reason Bucky's movies do well, his porn movies do well, is for the same reason this movie should be loved, is because it gives everybody with a small dick hope.
That's great.
Again, not me.
That's great.
that
Everyone else.
Everybody else who has one, for sure, not me.
So, Jimmy, are you saying your penis is average?
Definitely. Painfully average, that's for sure.
Excellent.
Huge
Yeah.
compared to Bucky's.
Both length and girth?
It's a PSA for small dick people.
It is, and
Okay.
man, does he that guy's got a load on him. That's wow.
Those teeth, though.
I don't know, man. Like Martin's at least has that watchability where you put it on in the background, right? Like this doesn't even have that.
No.
Like you can't risk someone coming into the room
No.
while you're watching this fucking movie at any point. There is no safe point in this movie where
Doesn't he do like a lot of streaker stuff too? Where I feel like he's always pulling open his robe in it and like showing his tiny dick.
He's pulling his. Well,
his thing is that he comes immediately without doing
Yeah.
absolutely anything, right? But yeah, there's
it's like
a
this.
lot of that.
Ting, pss.
Well, there's the scene when
God.
he shows up at his friend's house to watch the movie that his parents are in.
Yeah.
That he's unbeknownst to.
Bucky, those are your folks.
Bucky, why? I know they recognized him, but when they're like, "Hey, go sit front row," and then they start like coaching him into jerking off for the first time. That's just an awkward scene to watch.
Like I don't know.
mean-
Maybe I should Google who wrote this, but for the love of God,
They should have at least put a cookie in
I
that
think-
scene.
I think I secede
Any
this
re-
week.
Any redeeming qualities though? Like I
I
didn't
just
get far
think
enough. So.
this is my argument
Okay.
against the movie. I just
Christina
don't
Ricci?
think Nick
Yeah.
Swartzen is a headliner. You know,
No.
he's not.
No,
I
you're
don't
right.
like him. I like him as a supporting
Good
actor. I
stand-up.
don't think I couldn't stomach him as a main character. You know,
It's just he's and
As a
the
lead.
teeth, the hair, all of it. It's a lot for an hour and a half.
Yeah, he can't carry a movie.
It's.
I think that's a big reason why it's horrible. Like you say Happy Madison, you hear Adam Sandler's involved, and then it just falls to a 2. And doesn't really get off the ground from that point on. Like the intro to it.
2?
Well, I'm being kind because
legally a 10%. Let's call it a 1.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
0.000.
Look, I secede this week. Okay, you guys can have this one. I'm out. I don't know why I
appreciate the fact that you actually chose literally probably the worst movie made in the last 15 years. By like a major Hollywood studio,
and we couldn't pick movies like The Room because people genuinely enjoy it. This movie is just not good. Like, no, I don't think there's a person who can like this movie. Well, there's 10% of people like this movie, but who are these people?
Do 10% of people have micro penises?
You know, I'll go.
Did you try watching it high?
Could you watch? Yeah.
The first time I watched it high, I probably did laugh at certain points, but I watched it sober this week.
It just had, you know what? Like with Your Highness, it is a stoner comedy. It makes no apologies about being that. It's got the silly, over the top, weird, gross humor.
Well, Bucky's definitely in that category too.
It is.
Oh, for sure.
But it doesn't take off the way that Your Highness does.
Like, at any point.
At any point. Like
the jokes fall short a lot of
times. They do.
Too.
And that's the thing is that
like
there's
Bucky's
a lot.
Dick.
Like,
That's a point for Jimmy.
Do you think that micro penis is circumcised?
Can you circumcise?
Wow.
Yeah, like that's a lot of work.
I wouldn't even try.
Wow, Rob.
That might just be nothing.
Is there a
left.
skilled enough moil? Anyway, sorry.
Like does he
I just wanted to throw the word moil into the podcast this week.
It's like how I want an
That's
80-year-old
twice.
barber whose hands are shaky
He's got
all the
Parkinson's.
time, but when he has a straight razor, he is the straightest. It's it's the same
Savant,
situation.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When he's shaving the back of my neck, there's no better person for it.
Yeah,
Bucky was really bad.
Bucky, yeah. Your Highness is winning right now. You're in the top seed, Marty.
Attitude.
All right, Rob. I'll go next. I picked Black Hat, which is a Michael Mann film. I am a huge Michael Mann fan. I'm a fanatic for Michael Mann.
The Michael Mann fan.
Only because, simply put, his movies, he shoots awkward camera angles. He tries to make it more real life.
What's your favorite Michael Mann movie?
Heat.
Of course. If you said anything else, I would have reached across the room and beaten you.
Yeah, like he it's just the best cop and robber movie of all time.
And the fact that two main characters are literally only in the movie together for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Like
how good is that shit?
And how much money did they ask for? You think, right? Like we'll do one scene together, but it's going to cost you $50
And that's the
million
last
apiece.
time Val Kilmer was good in something.
Yeah. Well, throat cancer does that to a human.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Touche.
You know he still makes Batman art, Val Kilmer?
Really?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
like he'll shave the Batman symbol into like a piece of sheet metal.
That's cool. Have you guys ever noticed how Val Kilmer has a really weird elbow?
No.
No? What could that mean?
So next time you watch a Val Kilmer movie, look at one of his elbows. It's irregularly shaped, and now you will never unsee that shit.
You don't know which
You're
elbow,
welcome. I can't. It's the left or the right. You'll really
got
notice
two,
it in the
You
Salt
know, it's
and
the
Sea.
left or the right.
Salt and Sea, such a good Val Kilmer movie. Such an
Is
underrated.
that like
drug
Megan
movie.
Fox and her thumbs? The same thing, kind of that.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
like the
Megan
weird
Fox thumbs, it'll
toe
be-
thumbs.
Toe
Oh,
thumbs.
it's like
Yeah.
hot, incredibly attractive lady.
I
with
like
weird
seeing those
hands.
things. I like seeing those things on famous people because then I go, oh, okay.
I
you're
thought
not
you meant you
perfect.
wanted to
People.
see those things.
No,
Okay.
like the only thing I don't have in common is a micro penis. But like seeing ugly elbows or toe thumbs, I'm like, you're human.
Yeah.
You're not just this perfect thing on screen. My Rotten Tomato score for Black Hat was 32% for the critics for the tomato
Brag.
meter.
Brag.
we set a threshold of 50, so I didn't want to go right
Wow,
under
this
50.
is critically acclaimed, practically.
24% audience score. But here's the thing: 188 tomato meter score, like total
Is
count.
that good?
Well, compared to 19,000 on the audience
What
score.
the fuck is a tomato reading?
Well,
That's the critics,
That's the
isn't it?
critics.
Oh,
The
okay.
tomato meter versus the audience score.
Right.
Right. So, value, they made $5 million at the box office.
When
much did they spend?
what was released the same week as this movie?
I didn't check
I think
that.
there
Good
might have been
question.
there must have been something so fucking epically massive.
You know, that's
that-
why Bucky did bad. Something else probably just...
Sure, yeah, Harry Potter was released that weekend, and that's why nobody went to see Bucky.
Well, first of all, so the movie's about internet terrorism, essentially, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
So you've got Hemsworth as a arrested hacker,
As the sexiest hacker ever.
Yeah.
Is this Chris or Liam?
Chris.
Or the other one?
So just guys, it opened against American Sniper in January 16,
okay.
2015.
Okay, all right.
With like Bradley Cooper.
Bradley
American
Cooper.
Sniper?
Cooper.
Were you going to say
Yeah.
pooper?
I was actually.
Please do.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper.
So many
Yeah,
good
well, and you know,
episode
every
titles.
American was like, guns in a movie about American hero that's a sniper.
I have
killing,
to decide whether I have
kill-
to shoot this boy.
Killing Muslims. I gotta go see that.
Well,
Yeah.
and then it's also directed by Clint Eastwood too. So
that
Who
old.
is still alive?
yeah,
And
90s
seems to get more old man on the porch racist all
He is
the
becoming
time.
the guy from Gran Torino without learning the lesson.
He was
every
already.
day. Like Christ.
He's morphed into the character he hates.
Right? Like,
Isn't
did
he on
he
his-
learn nothing from his own movie?
Isn't he on like his third family too? Like, like
Probably.
he's so old and so awesome.
They're all
like
dying
he's had
after.
3 different distinct families over like his. How old is he? Like 90.
Early
like,
90s.
Like
Late
how
80s,
many
early
how many
90s.
souls of young children does he devour to stay that young?
All of them.
All of it.
All
he has
of
he has a school on hold for him that he just pulls from. But here's the
Wow,
big
that's
thing.
a fucked up conversation.
Okay,
Sorry, I apologize.
So $5 million in the theater for Black Hat, $90 million loss.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So your tomato score is not reflective of.
Is not reflective of how bad it did. But here's why I think it did bad. First, well, why I think it what I like about it, it came out right in the middle of a lot of tech changes. Right, the last 20 years we've been flying by the seat of our pants.
Sorry,
with
what year was this?
2015.
Okay.
So if you look at when social media and smartphones and everything started to come out, I don't think people really wanted to see this movie because we like to get lost in our social devices. We don't like to know that they're hackable. We don't like to know that you
By
can
beautiful men.
by beautiful hackers don't look like Chris Hemsworth at all. Okay, they're fat. They're in. They look like Kevin Smith from Live Free or Die Hard. They do not look like Thor. Okay,
That's accurate.
which is kind of hard to swallow because you have to swallow Hemsworth's bad accent at the same time, not just Bucky Larson.
Well, is he doing the American?
He's doing the Baston.
Okay.
He's doing the
Weird.
heart of
Yeah,
darkness.
the problem is that like that little bit of Australian comes out on
It does.
certain
Yeah. That's
certain pronunciations.
So that's a con for sure. But the story's great because it's a thriller. It's got some great action in it, like any Michael Mann does. He's more about the slow burn. Okay, so it isn't like Indiana Jones where it's just constant action. It is technical information. It's great for the computer programmer, the IT junkie, or somebody who knows that world exists and this is how you could fuck up a nuclear power plant halfway around the world. It's not for the layman. So I think the reason Hemsworth is in it is so that the layman would pay attention.
Right.
Because the rest of the cast, like I have the names written down somewhere, but I'm gonna mispronounce.
like
them,
his
so I might
buddy,
as well say-
his buddy who
His
he
best
was
friend
who
who's-
was in school with,
Yeah.
who's like a lieutenant in the Chinese
He's a lieutenant in the Chinese IT
military or whatever.
the IT department of the military, and that guy's sister is Hemsworth's love interest. They're great in the movie. I think the three of them together make a really good team in what they're trying to do. And you've got the American Chinese government fighting back and forth going, don't share intel with them, so there's that little subplot of like, not only are they fighting against their own governments, but they're fighting against this guy who's hacking nuclear power plants and soybean futures, like shit that really could hit the fan. So I think the reason it didn't do well was because it is too real. Like, it's talking about a subject, like we go to the movies to get taken away, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, Michael Mann has made some incredibly big action-based movies prior to, so he slipped down.
Hold on. Did you pick a movie you actually enjoy?
Well, yeah, I did. I was like, how am I gonna? At the same time, I can
God
hate on
damn it!
too,
This
but-
debate's been stacked against us.
I was just picking a movie that did shit, but at the same time, I was like, well, how am I going to talk about a shitty movie if I don't know anything about it? And I watched it for the 10th time, and I'm like,
I thought the whole point of this was it was a movie that was quote unquote shitty, didn't
Yeah,
make money,
it
but
did.
we like.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So what was your excuse, Jimmy?
Fuck, man. I don't know.
He concedes. It's okay.
It was the worst movie
You know what?
that I've seen.
Honestly, it's awesome that you chose this because we can just all pile on how
This is what we
shitty
usually
it
do to Mike.
I know.
we
This
usually
feels
do.
so good. This is a new feeling.
So, Mike, can we start picking your movie apart now?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Viola Davis or whatever, like
Viola Davis,
yeah,
yeah.
who's like the FBI liaison, handler kind of thing.
She's the one orchestrating the whole
I
thing.
just felt like she's so overacted, like that whole movie. She's annoying, and I know you're supposed to fucking hate her because she's like the authority that's getting in the way of allowing them to get the shit done that they need to get done, right?
Yeah,
but sometimes I'm just like, get the fuck out of this scene. Like,
it was dialed up too much. I can totally agree with you on that.
But I mean, I see where you're coming about from that. Didn't do well because people want to get lost on the movies and blah blah blah.
That's really good Michael.
But I mean, at the same time, it was released in January.
Who am I again?
It was released in January,
Tough month, yeah.
which is a tough month.
Yeah.
It was also, I think, a movie that was originally supposed to be released about a year and a half prior to that, and I think it just kept getting pushed in the Hollywood schedule and stuff like that. But I mean, I liked it. I for the most part, I thought it had kind of a good filter, good kind of feel, those kind of things. And it's kind of funny because it's almost talking about the Chinese American government cooperation, and it's such a 180 from where political stuff is
Today-
right now
today compared to then, yeah.
between the Trump administration and the Xi government and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah.
It's not man's best, and at the same time, there are some incredible jumps that need some more story, like when they're chasing after this one guy, and then all of a sudden, just more guys keep getting added into it to either increase the story or increase the length of the movie. I don't know, but like it's originally one guy, but then the next thing you know, it's like 14 guys they have to find, and then there's another guy. Like it just keeps spiraling down,
the
and then
other
you
thing
get
is
lost
nuclear
on the
power
point of it.
plants aren't hooked up to the regular internet.
That's also
like,
John
get the fuck out of here. Like some of the stuff that they talk about in there, they're like, oh, we're going to create nuclear disaster with this internet. It's like, no, like it's not fucking hooked up to a regular standard internet. It would be a closed intranet system that would be, not hackable in a normal sense. You would actually have to physically be there to tap in. And, so there's definitely a lot of hole plots when it comes to those kind of things.
Or like the financial market and how easy it was for him to hack that too from a laptop. Like it looks like a laptop that I got at, someone's garage sale. It doesn't look like it's the stuff that we're used to seeing.
But it was overclocked, dude. It was overclocked.
Fair enough, tech junkie.
Was it in a well-ventilated area? Because you're going to need a lot of cooling.
He
on
got
that
one of
overclock.
those ice packs that you would put in your cooler to go to the beach, and he sat the laptop on it, and then overclocked the shit out of it, and took all that bloatware that you get prepackaged when you buy the laptop at Best Buy.
All the bloatware?
All the bloatware.
Marty, what's your thoughts on the Black Hat? Which is also go ahead.
I think, like I said, I did enjoy the movie as a whole. Like, it was an okay movie. Like, it's not one of my top favorites. It's not even up there. But I mean, it was an enjoyable movie. I was able to watch it. But I just couldn't buy Chris Hemsworth as the hacker.
Yeah.
The Black Hat.
Someone
He's too
who
handsome.
is, he doesn't look like that. A hacker doesn't look like that.
Go play sports,
Well, and
Yeah.
Live your life, Chris.
Get paler skin. I don't know. Like, maybe.
Like, did he get those
Have too
massive
much
forearms
melanin.
from jerking off lots? Because that's what I
That's a
envision.
hacker look.
That's a hacker look.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
hackers don't have pecs. Hackers don't have chiseled jaw. Hackers don't have full heads of hair. Like there's so many things that, and that is 100%
That is
why
very
I think,
stereotypical.
I know it's stereotypical, but like, am I wrong?
Well, it's like you said.
Here's
You're
what I
basically
think. Can I
hacker
say this,
equals
though?
Kevin Smith.
I mean, to all the hackers
say
Is
out
that
there,
pre-surgery, that band surgery, so he's not as big, or post?
During.
I'm sure there are hackers out there that look like Chris Hemsworth, and to all the hackers that do, I'm happy you're that handsome.
And please
But-
don't hack my personal accounts.
And don't
I'll
hack
just
me.
say
Don't
this,
hack
like,
the Real
okay,
Debaters
as a
accounts for what I
hacker-
said.
You know what? If you can hack
I
the
mean-
real debaters.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, as a hacker, like, if you want to be the best, like, in anything you do, if you want to be the best at your field, you have to spend every dying minute doing that task and being a hacker.
Yes.
A hacker won't have time to hit the gym 5 times a week.
Totally.
He's not going to had the time to build up his body because he's building up his mind, his logic, his thought process. That's what he's working on to grind out to be the best at that. And I just don't think that is a realistic version of someone who could. Like you said, there are probably some hackers who are beautiful, but not to the level that we're expecting from this movie.
There is some secret agents at the CIA that will disagree with you, good sir.
So,
I only have one. Let's call it a qualm.
Okay.
That's a good word.
I have one qualm with Mike here.
Moil and qualm.
You adhered to all the rules. You did great. My only qualm is that you picked like an okay movie. Like that's all.
Yeah.
I was looking.
Your Highness is an okay movie. I bought the Blu-ray.
Did you watch the Blu-ray?
Yes, I did. It wasn't in the plastic still.
Because I have that still.
I can agree with you on that one, Jimmy, because I was blinded by tomato score. I was blinded by loss. I was blinded by cost versus loss. Like a $90 million loss and a $5 million take.
Mm-hmm.
That's you're in the negative.
I don't think it deserved what it got.
No, but at the same time, yes, I did pick. Like as soon as I went down the list, I was like, okay, I know that movie. I can argue it.
We put a tough task. It was a tough task.
Yeah, it's not easy to argue.
It was a good
shit.
task, though. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, you're not done yet, son.
Yeah.
You're up next, Rob.
Oh, that's right. I chose a movie.
Just here for input.
He's here to shit disturb.
I'm just here to shit
Color commentary, that's what he's here for.
Colorful commentary and references to obscure 80s movies that everybody loves. So the movie I chose was Repo Men. It was released in 2010. It stars
Jude Law,
Forrest Whitaker, and Jude Law.
And Liv Schreiber.
Liv Schreiber's in it, and
Sabretooth.
What's her name? She was in
she was the witch in Game of Thrones.
She was in Will Smith's movie with the zombies.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Oh, I don't get a point for that unless I get
something
the actress.
Braga. She's Brazilian. Anyway.
Yep.
Sophia. No.
Not
I'll look it
Sophia.
up.
That's Modern Family.
Yeah, I know.
And she's from Venezuela, I believe, or Colombia or something.
Yeah.
I liked this movie.
What's the story?
Oh, what's the story? Well, let's talk about it. So first off, Rotten Tomatoes, it was shitty. Under 50.
Shitty.
I don't have the exact numbers on me. I apologize. It did have a budget of $32 million. It only made $18 million.
Rough.
Now, the thing about this movie, though, is it was originally filmed about 3 years prior. So I think it was filmed in 2007. It was supposed to be released late 2007, 2008, and it was one of those movies that kind of kept getting kind of pushed back.
Right.
I liked it. It's near future. It's in a future where modern biological science has created artificial organs that aren't grown; they're actually mechanical. And so when people's livers fail, or their pancreas fails, or they need new kidneys or new hearts or any of those types of things, they go and purchase them. But they're incredibly expensive, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And most people can't afford that, so they do financing to fit your budget. But if you go past 90 days of failing to pay, there's a team of guys that go and repossess these organs, and they literally basically just gut you like a fucking pig and pull out the fucking
I'll take
the
that pancreas
organ
back.
and then bring it back. And these guys are paid on commission. They're they're vicious, and the movie is gory and ultra violent and those kind of things. And I know if you read a lot of the critics, they said, "Oh, it's so fucking gory and blah blah blah." But I think that's part of it, and that's kind of the commentary of it.
I don't know how you could do it otherwise.
Well, that's the thing, and it needed to be that visceral and those types of things.
Right.
And I like the fact that it's in the near future, it's kind of talking. It's got a commentary of kind of the uninsured versus the insured, which is kind of a parallel to the the modern American medical system.
Yeah,
it was the first time I saw a Touareg fucking tricked out in a fucking movie, and at that time I was like, I really want a Volkswagen SUV. and honestly, man, ever since Gattaca, I've had a man crush on Jude Law, and I like movies that he's in. And the movie's actually got a pretty good twist at the end. It's kind of got a little Fight Club-esqueness where there's cut scenes where he actually goes into that M5 matrix, and when you watch it a second and a third time, you can actually see these cut points, and you're actually like, oh, okay, this is actually where he actually died, and this is where he actually goes into this neural net matrix, which is like a fake make-believe kind of world and stuff like that.
It's like Vanilla Sky, where you die.
I was just gonna say that, Vanilla
and then
Sky.
you continue on without being aware you've died.
Lucid dreams.
So, but again, you have to pay for it, and it's financially built to your.
I was thinking about choosing Vanilla Sky for this, but it made just a touch of profit.
That's Cameron.
Yeah, and I mean, Forrest Whitaker's great in this. This was, came out a little bit after, he'd done Panic Room, and I think King of Rwanda had kind of come out at the same time as this. So I think maybe it got panned a little bit in that respect, because you've got a guy who's basically just about to win an Oscar, and then he's in this like kind of gory sci-fi kind of movie. So sometimes critics are like, "Wow, fuck this shit," and they'll just pan it based on something like that. But all in all, I thought it was a good feel, and I know you're gonna hate me, Jimmy, because I chose a movie that I actually like, and some people might actually say is okay.
I like it too. You know what it's based? It's based off of Repo the Genetic Opera, which is a musical.
Oh, I didn't know that.
With the same premise.
Cool.
Traveling musical. It came through Canada. Went to Toronto at one point. I really hoped it came to Winnipeg, because it's like the Evil Dead musical, where the first row of people get splattered with blood.
Cool.
Which I did go see 2 years ago and got splattered. I had raincoat and everything. It was awesome. So it's even more visceral by breaking the fourth wall, where you're now like someone pulls a heart out on stage, and you're like splattered with blood in the front
And I like
row.
that Jude Law does these types of roles, right? There's I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Existence that he's in.
No.
And it's a not David Lynch, or is it a David Lynch movie? Anyway, it's basically it's a weird fucking like kind of dream-esque kind of world. It's by the same guy that directed Naked Lunch, so it's very I don't know, and I like that Jude Law does these types of kind of off bent kind of sci-fi kind of cool movies.
Well, he was in Captain Marvel, like he just.
Well, he'll do like a big fucking movie, and then he'll do a bunch of cool fucking indie movies, right? And
it's almost as if he's like funding the indie movies with his awesome.
Well, a lot of actors do that. I mean, Chris Hemsworth does the same thing. He's like, I'm fucking Thor, and now I'm gonna do a smaller fucking indie movie, right? Or,
one for the art,
or I'm gonna do fucking Rush, which is fucking so good, right?
But
that's Ron Howard.
What's
so
what's
expected.
it? 1 for them and then 3 for you.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the way, and I appreciate actors that are willing to do that.
Hell yeah.
And those kind of things. So let's rip this movie apart and why it sucks.
I don't. Again, you picked like an okay movie. I really don't think it deserved what it got. I enjoyed it. Like, I'm also a fan of the effects, and I just I don't have a problem with it at all. I couldn't imagine, like, when you picked it, I had to look it up and be like, did it really get that? Like, I couldn't see people giving it this bad of a score.
Yeah, neither could I.
Well, the reason I came to it is I was looking through my movies, right, at home, and I was like, because I was having some trouble finding a movie. Because originally I wanted to do John Carter, right?
Yeah.
And because that's a movie that
arguably terrible.
It got pandered.
One of the most financial
but it
disasters ever.
just made money, right? But but it. Again, awesome fucking movie that should have been super fucking epic. And then I was trying to look for something else, and I was like, I was gonna do Lockdown, and then I chose Repo Man.
Right.
I love the scene in the end when they start chopping themselves up to get off grid. I
That-
thought it was a little over the top.
It's a little
bit over the top.
Because it's
I
like,
didn't
how-
like,
how
I didn't
on
like how
earth-
they sexualized it a little too much.
They
though.
threw in the porno.
Like
over
he's
there.
like putting the scanner in her mouth after like making out with her and kissing her ear, and he's like, oh yeah, take the scanner.
But then it like reaches around her and reaches under her rib cage to pull out her lung or something. Like
I think to scan like her kidney or her liver or something. Yeah.
But and I love the premise because it does play on something that potentially could happen in
It's
the
interesting.
future,
Like
right? Like it's
that's the
it's a
thing,
long way
yeah.
away.
It's a
but, like,
genuinely good story.
yeah.
It's actually closer than you think. Maybe not from a mechanical standpoint, but definitely like actually growing organs from our own DNA.
Yes, no,
there's actually some companies that have done it.
My one problem is I think it just doesn't do anything for the micropenis community. Which my movie had
Yeah.
and did. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
farther reach
like
than
Forrest Whitaker just doesn't have a micropenis.
Definitely not. No.
Marty, what do you got to say about Repo Man?
I liked it. Like I said, it's one of those. I agree with what Jimmy said. I mean, when I watched it and then I looked after what the tomato score was, I'm like, it
just doesn't
deserved
make
this.
sense.
I thought it deserved
Yeah.
better. I think like my one thing about it was maybe sometimes the gore was a little too over the top, but I mean, as a movie, I still enjoyed it. I think it was fun, unique like story, interesting premise. So
Did you watch the theatrical or the unrated version? Because the unrated version's even gorier.
Oh, that's the one I watched.
That's
No,
the one
I
I
just
watched.
watched the regular version, not the unrated. No.
There's some really funny scenes though, like when they're driving down the street and he just pulls out a scanner and there's some fat guy eating food on the corner. He's like, "Oi, better pay up on your pancreas."
2 days.
2
You're gonna
days. The guy just runs off. Like,
I also like the scene where they talk about where he goes, "There's 3 times that I've been rendered unconscious," and then he talks about like the test. He's like, "Boy, you got a small brain and a thick skull. We're putting you in the tanks." And it shows them
That's his flashback
in the tanks,
to how
and
he-
they're
yeah,
like, and
yeah.
they blow somebody. He's like, "We made it disappear." They're like, and they're just fucking psychopaths, right?
no, it's one of those. You can't call it a horror, you can't call it a thriller, but it's a gore fest for sure.
It's a sci-fi.
It's
sci-fi.
Sci-fi gore.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
where does this fall? But I think you're right.
Yeah.
Sci-fi seems to be the place.
Yeah, it'd be a sci-fi. I mean, sci-fi I feel like is a giant catch-all because I mean,
Any dystopian.
It could be a
Yeah.
movie. It could be a movie like Passengers, which is sci-fi, but it's a
Right.
fucking love story, right?
Totally.
It's almost a drama,
Subgenre
Yeah,
right?
right, you're right.
And then
Yeah.
you've got a movie like Event Horizon, which is sci-fi,
But
but
a
it's
horror.
a fucking horror movie.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's next time you watch it, pause where it shows like the devil like scenes.
Does he have
and
weird
then go,
elbows?
And go and no weird elbows, and go and pause it and go frame by frame. And the pictures, they actually have all the actors like in this crazy makeup, and they're barfing out hands and shit.
Is that the recap of when they find the file on the spaceship?
And they go,
yeah.
yeah, just do that sometime.
It's such an underrated movie.
It is a very underrated movie.
I think Rob may have won this week.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have the strangest feeling. Gentlemen, grab your pads and pens.
Before we do that, points-wise, Mike and Rob tied with 5. Martin had 1, and I had 3.
Sweet.
How are the points determined again?
Through reference and nothingness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
If someone's like, what was that, and we don't have a Jamie on the fly to do it for us like Rogan does, if you get a point for being a Jamie, so to speak. It's a Jamie point, or a Wobby Wob point if you're Dak Shepard's podcast.
Right.
Wobby Wob?
Well, that's what he. Anyways,
I've never listened to Dak Shepard's podcast. Is it good?
It's so good.
Okay, so we're writing our votes here.
We're writing our votes down here. So
Are you allowed to vote
Yeah.
for yourself?
Mike, I'm going to text you on WhatsApp.
You're gonna text me on WhatsApp? Okay, cool.
Hold up the board.
Yeah, just
Yeah, do it in all caps, Marty. It's a pretty small screen.
Marty, can you please send it on Snapchat?
oh,
Attached
I will
with
send it
attached
via
with
carrier
attached
pigeon.
with a dick pic. Because I think that's what
I will
Snapchat's
also
for,
send
right?
that via carrier pigeon.
Dick pic via carrier pigeon. Love it.
Are you? That sounds like a Bucky Larson kind of.
It's a micro pigeon.
The micro carrier pigeon.
All right, Mike wins. Mike gets a point for that. Puts Mike up to 6.
Okay, Marty, text me on our feed, not the group feed. Okay.
Now, are we
Yeah,
voting
the one you called me
on
on.
the worst best movie, or are we voting on the
Oh,
opening
this is your
scene?
first debate. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so
Well, no, this is the first time where we've actually done
Yeah.
the debate, where we've actually done the thing at the end.
yeah.
I
Based
don't-
on whether you'd go back and watch this movie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And vote for anybody else but yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm ready. Marty, are you ready over there?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Just let me know when it hits send.
On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh,
There's a-
Rob wins.
I think
Rob wins.
Was it a sweep?
It was okay. So you picked Rob, I picked Rob, and Jimmy picked Rob. So it's pretty much a sweep.
That's about as close as a sweep as we get.
That's a
But I
sweep.
think I won because Rob drew a dick and balls on mine. So either he saw them slip out my shorts, or
That's just how I spell your name.
oh, that's how he spells my. That's the
Yeah,
hieroglyphic.
that's
for
the
me.
hieroglyph for Mike Petrow.
That's Mike Petrow
Dick
Egyptian.
and balls.
Yeah, he is perfectly shaved balls.
Oh.
D, Michael. Not drum and bass. Dick and balls, Michael.
I drew a little knife and a heart showing that you cut the heart out.
Oh, I like
for-
that. I
for
like
Rob.
that. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
I'm no Chris Stanton. I can't draw, caricatures. But
That's a real skill set.
he drew them while we were talking. That was what was.
You know what?
I was like, "Are you even here, buddy?" And then he would just pull out this little drawing at
He
the
should
end.
get
and I
a
was
job.
Like,
He
Sweet.
should get a job as the person that draws the images of people in a courtroom.
Yeah.
The courtroom, not the stenographer.
Not the
but
stenographer, because that's the person that
No, the
types on the
sketch artist,
weird
yeah.
on the weird typewriter that doesn't look like a regular typewriter.
Yeah.
But the person that draws things where there's no video feed. And I love it when sometimes the person can draw really well, and other times you're like, did
so
you use fucking
bad.
crayons or some shit?
So I voted for you, Rob. It's out of everything, it is the better pieced together movie. Like it has all the things that a good movie should have. If you look at story,
I'd argue that it is a good movie.
Yeah, like I would put that on one where it's like argue a good movie and argue why it's bad per se. Like it
could have wone either way.
It's got a good intro.
Yeah.
It's got a twist at the end.
It covers the story.
You know?
It doesn't go too far away. It is over the top. Chopping up people in the middle of broad daylight is kind of weird, but
and some of the dialogue gets a little patchy in a couple of scenes. But even good movies sometimes run to that fault.
Schrodinger's cat makes an appearance.
That's right. He talks. I forgot about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Is the cat alive or dead in the box?
Yeah.
It's alive and dead at the same time. The whole theory.
He throws a typewriter on a dude's head.
Yeah, he does do that. I love it when a good old typewriter is used as a murder.
Well,
weapon.
I mean, that's the only thing. The
not
only
done
thing
enough.
a royal typewriter is
Misery?
good for anymore.
Misery?
I feel like Misery movie though should have been more gory because
It could have been.
in the movie she breaks his legs with a sledgehammer. But I've never read the book.
What's
but
that
apparently
term
in the
called
book
either?
she chops them off with a fucking axe.
Holy shit.
Ugh.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, he's not going anywhere then.
Mind you, that's a '90s movie. I bet you the studio was like, "Okay, we can do this, but we need to turn it down a
It
bit."
needs to
Mr.
be
King, you're
Disney
scaring us.
clean.
It was Mr. King on the set. We need to rewrite.
It was probably a Buena Vista production.
But yeah, no, it's that my feelings for Repo Man. I've watched it like I'm pretty sure 5 times. I'm a huge Jude Law fan. Forrest Whitaker coming off of Last King of Scotland, which is an fucking believable movie.
Yeah, what did I say? Rwanda King? Like what the fuck was
No,
wrong
you
with-
said Last King of Scotland.
No, I said Rwanda King.
Well, yeah,
it's in Rwanda.
You got it. You got
That was a
geographically, you
giant
were right.
fail. I got the setting correct.
Martin, what do you think about Repo Man? Is it?
I've already talked. I think same thing you guys. Like, I mean, it's the out of all the movies, it's the most well put together movie. Like, it's got good actors. It's got a good story. It's got a lot of good scenes. It's got some funny moments, witty moments, things that are memorable. And I was interested throughout the whole thing. So I mean, it's a good movie.
The question begs to ask though, are these movies ruined by online scores or not?
They totally are.
I would argue Bucky Larson was not ruined by
I would concur with you,
Yeah,
sir.
no, like, but
I would also say Your Highness was not ruined by online scores.
Yeah. Like sometimes yes, sometimes no.
But usually, Rotten Tomatoes is a good gauge, right? It's
I
kind of
agree.
like when you go to a restaurant. You're looking for a restaurant in a different city, and you're like, this restaurant has 200 reviews at 4.5 stars, and then you see this other one, you're like, it has 1,000 reviews at 3.2. Trust me, there's a reason it's 3.2.
and I it's not that I don't trust it. It's, I guess, and we've talked about this before, but should all movies get an embargo as a fair standing chance to level the playing field?
I think it's the same with trailers, man. You just got to take your chance and hope you like the movie.
But how
right?
many people on this podcast, I think all of us will agree, but I mean, if you ask this broadly, how many people would be like, change the trailer method, stop including so much, put some mystery back into it, because you can already start to chew apart a trailer based on what the movie's going to be. And I feel that if you want to reset the industry for all of us to start coming back to movies eventually, I this is just me, but I think there needs to be a set of rules and a better dynamic.
Yeah, stop making so many bad fucking movies.
Well, there's that. Stop making movies for profit. Start making movies for story again. Go with original ideas.
No. They still need to make movies for profit, because if the movies are not profitable, they cannot make the movies in the first place.
But I mean, profit.
But I get where you're going with that.
All of
include a couple-
our movies were made profit.
I mean, that was the intention. They were like, Bucky Larson, this shit only costs like 10 mil. We're gonna make like
money.
100 million on this.
It's chump change. But I just, so maybe trailers need to be less
What about like a
persuasive. time
limit? Like what about only 30-second trailers or
Yeah,
something?
you
I don't
know,
know.
like you can include
Maybe
a
a
lot.
teaser.
Yeah, just the tip trailers.
Yeah, no
It's a
lube.
good
just
trailer company.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
Write that down. I'm going to trademark that shit at the.
Just the tip productions. What do? We make trailers.
Just teaser trailers, that is it.
That's it. Well, why is it called Just the Tip? Because we give you just the
the
tip.
Tip.
Want to know why? Ask Bucky Larson.
It's all tip.
That's all tip. Tip shaft and,
That's hot
and,
dog
and
down the
everything.
hallway.
I don't know.
Vienna sausage.
Jimmy, you got any shows coming up?
When's this coming out? Wednesday?
Yeah. No. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Thursday, I'm hosting a show at Wee Johnny's, Rajat and Friends, but mainly Rajat. Come check that out. That'll be fun. And the September 3rd, we're doing New Faces 9, showcasing all the best new faces in Winnipeg comedy. Come check that out. That's also at Wee Johnny's. Show starts at 8.
Did you choose Bucky Larson because you host a lot of things at Wee Johnny's?
That kind of plays
subconsciously,
into,
yes.
Yeah, I think he might have connected the dots to that. Marty, you got any shows coming up, buddy?
So far, just the 21st of August, I'm at Hood 29 for Comedy Ring.
Perfect.
That's about it.
Me and Rob just have life to get back to, so we're not going to promote that.
Depressing selling of things.
Yeah.
And your review on mini donuts from
From McDonald's?
Yeah.
0 points.
Zero. I didn't.
They were okay.
I'm gonna try. Pass them over. I'll try one.
You
want
to try one?
much like these movies.
Yeah, I'm not.
They were
I'm not
okay.
too good for McDonald's donuts. Like,
Are you a are you a sprinkles guy, or are you more of a creamed filling guy?
That's a little personal.
Is it though?
I like a good.
Look at his pants. Look at his shorts.
Look
What
at
do you
his
think he
shorts.
is?
them some cream filled shorts.
They wipe it all.
He's already talked about coming in blankets.
Yeah.
I'm a stuffed donut kind of guy.
I don't think he talked about coming in blankets. I think it was a hand job.
I feel that donuts need to be stuffed with a topping. I feel if you're really going to make a donut worthy of my
I think
with
it needs.
sprinkles?
I think it needs a filling.
yeah, a filling, and then
What?
like the everything donut at O Donuts, which you can sponsor us if you want, guys. Is
that'd be
stuffed.
nice.
It's stuffed with cream cheese, and then it's got all the everything bagel components.
It's got
on top.
too
It's a
much.
si-
It's too much for me.
well.
Like I like.
Do you
a
need a
good
micro
gel-
penis donut? Is that what you're getting at? Or
No, I just
an
want.
eclair?
No.
Is that, is it
No, I
one
still
little
want
donut.
I still want average girth. I just maybe I want a honey dip.
I like jelly filled.
I like simplicity. Simplicity
I'm
in
with
donuts
Martin.
is nice. Just
Yeah.
make something simple but good.
Yeah, I feel like bronuts sometimes is just too over the top.
A nice Danish.
I like bronuts, but sometimes I'm just like I'll have one and I'll be like, this is awesome, but it's almost too much. It's kind of like a sometimes I just want vanilla ice cream. I don't need the fudge and the peanuts.
I heard
get it.
you guys hear the story? There was a kid who drove from his campus to New Jersey to get he'd get boxes and boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts, drive back to campus and sell them for way more than what they were worth, and he made a shit ton of money
Smart
doing
kid.
it. Yeah.
Entrepreneur.
Well, they made him stop.
Don't they like capitalism in America?
You think
Seriously,
so.
that's like the not greasiest way to do it. Buy
Right.
donuts up the charge,
You
sell
straight
them.
up just bring them back, sell them.
Yeah,
You're
like
paying for
it's
the
either that or
convenience.
he was gonna go buy a bunch of weed on volume,
Right,
and
like,
bring
isn't
it
that-
back and
Yeah.
sell it for a profit. And said he did donuts. He was probably selling weed and donuts. That's
Yeah.
probably the missing
In
part
the
of the
donuts,
story.
right.
Can I tell you how to make this donut better? Buy this weed.
And make Bucky Larson somewhat watchable.
This donut will make micro penis that much better.
Like, I don't know, man. If the critics were just a little bit high,
Right? If you just offered them a half hit before they went
I
in.
don't think it deserves 0.
If
I
they'd
think
all been
they're-
microdosing mushrooms, psilocybin, they would have gotten a slightly better rating.
That means there is an audience for this, and I don't think it deserves 0%.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe 5.
Christina Ricci
She is in the
fetish
movie.
people.
I like
People that are really into the Addams Family and love Christina
You know
Ricci.
these people exist.
Anybody who watched Black Snake Moan is gonna love Bucky Larson.
Thank
Have
you,
you
Michael.
guys seen Black Snake Moan?
Oh, yeah.
That was actually the only review that Roger Ebert left.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. If you've seen Black Snake Moan, you might like
You
this.
might like Bucky Larson.
Are both Siskel and Ebert, are they both?
They've both passed.
They
Yes.
both passed now.
Yeah. One of them had a face cancer or jaw cancer
Yeah.
or something, and it
And he had like the robot voice and stuff at the end?
yeah,
That-
kind of
that's-
disformed him.
Yeah.
Gave him 3 thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was one his micro penis?
I really want to call this episode Minotaur Micropenis.
I feel like every
I think so.
every episode that I'm on, the title always ends up being dick reference.
There's some
I
dick- yeah.
feel like
Yeah,
I
'cause,
feel
like,
like
Big Blue
I
Dick.
called. I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's definitely it.
But we literally, like, one of the key movies we discussed, the premise of it is micro penis. So we knew that we would allude to this. And let's be honest, probably the funniest scene of Your Highness is
The Minotaur dick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the only joke I remember.
Makes
from the
me want to
movie.
get some new blue.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been a blast as always. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to follow anything Real Debaters, it's at Real Debaters on Instagram and Twitter. The spelling is REEL. The email is therealdebaters@gmail.com. Send us an email for a question. We'll read it on the air.
Topic ideas?
Topic ideas. You want to give us a debate idea? We'll even give you some street cred for it. You can walk around and be like, I helped produce that episode. So it's therealdebaters@gmail.com.
Buy our skateboard merch.
Buy our skateboard merch, definitely. Head to the website, therealdebaters.podbean.com, and click on the prop shop. Go to the Threadless page. Skateboards, cell phone covers, T-shirts, hoodies. Rob, we have your T-shirt here.
Please buy skateboards.
Yeah, we do.
Did you guys got skateboards?
We have skateboards.
We have skateboards.
I think it's $35 a deck.
$35 a deck.
Is it? So it's just the deck.
Yeah, it's just the deck.
Yeah, you got to go buy the trucks and the wheels elsewhere, but we'll get you a $35 deck.
Do we have Real Debaters yoga pants?
We
Nope.
should.
We should, though.
No, not pants, shorts.
We have Real Debaters
Yoga
pants
shorts.
with the butt flap. For the debater and everyone.
They also come in lumberjack motif.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been Mike Petrow. To my left has been
Rob Strachan.
Martin Navarro.
Jimmy Skitter.
And we're gone.